drivers on NBCSN who've been enjoying Premier League coverage today. We are at Martinsville Speedway. Sprint Cup Series final practice is underway. Martin Truex Jr. won the pole yesterday for Sunday's race, and currently in this practice session, Martin Truex Jr. is 10th fastest for one lap. As far as averages go, 5, 10, 15 lap averages. We're seeing a lot of drivers out there for quite a few laps in the 15 lap average. Martin Truex Jr. currently 3rd overall behind Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson. Four Joe Gibbs racing cars have made it into the round of 8. The 8 drivers that still have a championship possibility in front of them. One of those being the 19 of Carl Edwards.
Carl Edwards and his team, you feel like they've had a little bit of speed, a little lack of speed rather. They've been battling hard, done a really nice job, but I feel like when the chase started, they kind of stepped their program up a little bit. They've gotten a little more speed as this session's gone, as this season's gone on. This has not been a strong racetrack, though, for these guys. One of Carl Edwards, not best racetrack. They need to leave here, I believe, with a strong finish if they're going to move into Miami.
His career best finish at this track in the Sprint Cup Series is 3rd. He's never won. A great story for Carl Edwards. He started off in the Truck Series with Roush Fenway Racing, and I remember after a truck race that Carl had hit the curb, bounced up the racetrack, hit another truck, ended up wrecking his truck. He said after the race, he said, I'm positive I'm going to be fired. Jack Roush is going to fire me because I have wrecked his equipment. I'm sure it's going to end. Ultimately, the story is different in the fact that Carl Edwards went on to become a Sprint Cup driver for Jack Roush because Jack Roush saw the talent in this driver, and now Carl Edwards has moved over to Joe Gibbs Racing and has had an incredible, successful year and career already. Mike.
And obviously a very wise move by Jack Roush, keeping Carl Edwards employed. He's gone on to have many highlights behind the wheel of this race car. Still looking for that first championship, however. He's only one of 3 still in the round of 8 who has not won a championship. And believe me, he's as hungry as anyone to get that first title. I spoke with Carl this morning before the first practice to try to get a sense of how he's going to attack these 2 practice sessions. In the first session, he said, well, we're not going to learn all that much because it is cool. So we're just kind of A-B things and just try to experiment a little bit, just kind of rule some things out, and then dial it in the second practice. His biggest concern, however, is the fact that the race will be as warm as it's supposed to be. The forecast is for temperatures above 80 degrees, Jeff, and he said he cannot remember a race here where it's been that warm. So this practice has taken on additional importance for him, trying to get a better understanding what this race car is going to be like with a lot of rubber on it and it being a little bit warmer. And I know, Jeff, during the first practice session, I think you made mention of a race back in the late 90s, how it was so warm here. Now, Carl could not remember a race, so he could not compare what the car feels like under warm conditions, but perhaps you can tell us a little bit more what it's like here when it's warm compared to what they've been accustomed to.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, he'll remember this because this racetrack, because it's so small, you don't get a lot of air going underneath the car. You have an extreme amount of brake temp. You have an extreme amount of rear-end gear temp, transmission temp. All those temperatures get soaked into the car, and you just don't have that air. So that air going under. So only 83 degrees, no big deal. But 83 degrees here feels like 95 degrees inside the race car at some other racetrack. So he will remember this race.
Last time it was over 80 degrees at Martinsville was back in 2006. Joe Gibbs Racing has 4 drivers in the round of 8, including Carl Edwards and their dominance at short tracks this season. 4 of the 5, 3 poles, 6 top 5s, 11 top 10s between 4 drivers. They have led 67% of the laps at short tracks, including Bristol and this track, Richmond. It's been quite a season already for Joe Gibbs Racing. And now trying to finish out the season. All 4 drivers, once again, still with a shot at the championship. And you see upper left of your screen, 27th for Carl Edwards, 16th for Hamlin, 15th, 10th, 5th for Kyle Busch. That's 1 lap. the fastest lap. They're obviously working on race runs and longer runs. The 8 Chase drivers all looking for a title, but there are other drivers out on the track. There'll be 32 other drivers out on the track, and they're looking for wins, including Kyle Larson, who currently is fastest at Martinsville. Tony Stewart, Paul Menard, 3 Chevrolets that are the 3 fastest cars, and then a Toyota with David Reagan, all non-chasers, looking to spoil the party for the guys running for a championship. Again, win and you advance is what the 8 drivers are looking at. If one of the 8 drivers wins, they advance to the championship 4. But there are, as I mentioned, 32 other drivers out there that also want to win. And if they do, that means a guaranteed spot is not there for a chase driver.
And, you know, the theme since this chase started, this chase format started, has always been win and advance. Well, we saw in this last round, you know, wreck or blow up and you don't advance. You know what I mean? So much trouble in this entire chase so far. And now we come to Martinsville. We've seen it as soon as this chase started. We saw wrecks, we saw problems, we saw pit stop problems, we've seen mechanical issues, and now we go, in my opinion, Talladega and then Martinsville. Those are the first 2 hardest tracks we go to in this chase format. So who's going to have the problem? Who's going to get in that wreck? Who's going to get the nose tore off their car? Somebody is. The top 8 are not going to go through this race without a problem. But at the same time, the guys you're racing, they're all so good that you can't ride around and try to finish 15th and think that's going to get it done for you. You're going to have to race hard. But one of those 8 will most likely leave here having dug a hole and have to find a way to get out of it next week.
Kelly.
Rick, it was a win at Charlotte that put Jimmy Johnson through to the round of 8, but then a lot of people assumed if he made it this far that he would be one of the 4 competing for the championship at Miami, and that is because of his record over these next 3 racetracks that we go to, starting here in Martinsville, where he has 8 wins. But when Jimmy was asked about how much comfort that brings to him, he said, look, makes the week a little bit more relaxed, and it means we have a good notebook to pull from, but you've got to live in the now, live in the present. We've had a good race car the last couple of years, but not dominant. In this practice, he started off saying that he was on the splitter quite a bit. Now, here's Jimmy's latest report.
Pretty good. Getting started underneath me. Entry of 3, like landing in 3, a little further around towards the exit also. Touched a couple times in turn 2. I imagine it's a truck car mount. Loose off. The entry is okay. I mean, it could turn better, but I'm shearing the back a little bit.
So it sounds like they have gotten some of the kinks worked out of this 48. He's not particularly fast in this this practice session, I should say, but qualified 3rd, so he'll have a good starting position for tomorrow's race.
You know, Rick, where Jimmy Johnson, I think, is so dangerous here at Martinsville is his racecraft. It's not just the speed in this 48 car, but it's understanding the 500 laps, understanding the restarts, understanding when to push, when not to push, when to protect your equipment. You know, rarely do you go 500 laps here without some sort of issue. And how do you recover from that issue? How do you stay patient? I think that's what makes Jimmy Johnson excel here, because he has recovered, has came back and won some of these races. So he understands that the length of this race, the complexity of this race, and how so many different twists and turns over the course of the day.
One of the other things that's unique about Martinsville is the food selection. The Martinsville hot dog, one of the most famous in the world. As, by the way, the world record for most hot dogs 8 is 73 by Joey Jaws Chestnut. And here, that would cost you $146. They're only $2.